This
Yeah,
conference will
recording.
now be recorded.
So good evening to one and all once again. So before going to the topic, could you please tell me who all are have not attended any single class at least yesterday or day before yesterday? Can you just type yes in the comment box? Those who have not attended any class, that is, this is their first class. Just type yes. Those who have not attended any classes which was conducted yesterday or day before yesterday, please type yes in the comment box. Those who have not attended. Abhishek, okay, you have not attended the class. Fine. Anyone? Any more people? Yes, Dr. Tirunavukara Tharmalingam sir. Yes, okay. Anyone? Any more? Okay, so we have some new participants today. So what I would do, I would just go through the yesterday's slide. So yesterday's slide is basically about the organization, about the biosetup life science, what the organization is all about and all those things, and also about the CSIR strategy and preparation, which is already prepared by my colleague. Okay, I will just go through the slide once again. Those who have already attended, please bear with me, and then we will start today's class. Is that okay? Yeah, I hope this is okay. And so I will just go through the yesterday's slide. Fine. Thank you. So now we all are here to attend the course for CSIR Net, that is, which will lead to Junior Research Fellowship or Lectureship in Life Science. Okay. Now it is organized by Biosetup Life Science, which is a hub for scientific research and learning. Now, what is this Biosetup Life Science all about? First of all, now it's an ISO certified organization. You can see in the right side of the slide, on the top side, you can see ISO 9001 2015 certified, which means our organization is certified as an organization which is following total quality management principles. That's what ISO 9001 2015 is all about, total quality management. That is, the organization is following certain procedures, rules, regulations, documentation which is needed for a organization which is following a total quality management. So that's a symbol of our quality. Fine. And we are also registered under MSME Government of India. So MSME is nothing but micro, small and medium enterprises. It's a division of government regulation. So we are already registered under that. Now what we are doing, I will explain you in simple terms. Actually, this is an online platform for right now due to the COVID attack and all. It's an online. Maybe in later stage it may come to direct classroom interactions and all. Right now it is an online platform which will provide teaching and training for various competitive exams, like how we are attending now CSIR UGC NET, or maybe JNU, then IIT JAM, all those things. Fine. Then also we are providing training in, basically all these teaching and training is in the life science field. We are providing some online workshops. We are providing guidance for projects, research activities. Fine. Also for dissertations. So life science related, it's a one solution for all your life science related queries, consultancies and everything. Clear? This is what our organization is all about. This is our organization. Okay, this is not my organization or your organization. This is our organization. And the best thing about this organization, as a scientific person, what I feel the best thing is this organization has been initiated by few life science students, and few of the I would like to call them as life science entrepreneurs. They have taken the pain and they have started the organization. And how I joined into this organization was as a tutor, and now I am associated with this organization as a tutor and a guide or mentor or whatever you can call me. Fine. Now, so we are mainly focusing on value added education, which means see, there are students who cannot pay big fees and go for some entrance coaching related to any of the competitive exams or similar things. So we are providing them teaching and training and mentoring in a minimal margin. Fine. That's why we always believe in value added education. Fine. Sustainability, all those things are our main focus points. Clear. So that's all about the bioscience. Biosetup life science. That's our logo. You can see here, and that's enough. And regarding my bio, basically I am a postgraduate in microbiology. I have also completed Master of Philosophy in Microbiology and an MBA in Pathology Lab Management. That's what my basic qualification. And I am having 2 years of full-time teaching experience in various colleges focused in South India. Actually, I am from Kerala. My name, you know, Vinayan Ravindran Nair. I am from Kerala, basically. So I had worked as a lecturer from 2005 to, actually, my post-graduation I completed in the year 2003. Then from 2005 to 2007, I was completely engaged in teaching field in 2 different colleges in Kerala. One, Paishi Raja College, it is at Wayanad district in Kerala itself, and another college is Malankara Catholic College, which is at Tamil Nadu, it's our border state. Fine. So these 2 were the colleges, and then during this academic time, I completed my MPhil also on part-time mode, and even I got few chances to guide certain students for certain projects and research activities as well. Fine. And together with this, from the beginning of my career, I have been constantly engaged in teaching field. I have worked as a part-time faculty, visiting faculty for various organizations, including Time Institute, Triumphant Institute of Management Education Private Limited, which is also providing various classes for competitive examinations like medical engineering entrance, and even I am not sure whether they are providing for CSIR because it was back in 2005 or 2004. Fine. And even recently I have connected with another online platform from our state, Signature Solution. We were providing training classes for PSC examination, Food Safety Officer examination, which was notified by Kerala government. Fine. This is also it is also included in my CV. And then I'm a certified auditor for various ISO standards such as ISO 22000-2005, that is, which is related with food safety management system. Then ISO 45001-2018, which is related with occupational health and safety management system, as well as ISO 14001-2015, which is related with environmental safety management system. So I am a lead auditor. I have completed all these courses in various phases of my career. Fine. And I had been basically working as a food safety specialist or occupational health and safety specialist in various organizations in India and abroad as well. Fine. And few of my international certifications include food safety level 4, HACCP, or most of you know about HACCP level 4, and NEBOSH IGC, which is related again with occupational health and safety. NEBOSH HSW, that is NEBOSH IGC is in the International General Certificate, and NEBOSH HSW Health and Safety at Work. Fine. So overall, I am having around 13 plus years of experience, which includes teaching, laboratory experience, scientific field, including QA and QC, that is both in laboratory as well as online quality control. And right now, I am associated with Biosetup as a part-time faculty or trainer. So how this association came? I think once I saw one advertisement from some of the founder of Biosetup, like they are in need of part-time teaching staff, and since due to COVID, I was actually supposed to join an organization in Saudi Arabia, and due to this COVID and visa issue and all, I got stuck in Kerala. So I just sent my CV, and even they called me. So from that point, our association started, and even I have handled few classes for various students. Some of the participants now, they are already my students, and even I have conducted one workshop on identification of an unknown microorganism from a sample using various methods, step-by-step protocol, right from morphology up to culturing, then biochemical test and all those things, even molecular test, finally our blotting, chill blotting, protein separation and DNA separation blotting, all those things we have covered. So a few of our participants has already attended those also. So this is all about my bio. Now just going through the CSIR strategy and preparation. So now the best thing what you would be benefited from Biosetup Life Sciences, most of the faculty, maybe I think 3 out of 4 or 5 faculty, they have already cleared CSIR, I mean JRF and NET. So that is recently, not a few years back, recently. So you are getting a first-hand information from them about the topics, about the exam pattern, tips and tricks you will be getting from here directly. I am not sure whether any other organizations, there are a lot of organizations which is providing CSIR training, and lot of trainers are there, but I am not sure how many of those trainers have already qualified the exam. So that is different. Those who have done it once, they can very well teach you in that way how to crack it. That is one thing. Second thing is, whatever things which you learn in these classes, this is also applicable for your graduate or undergraduate or postgraduate classes, because the same syllabus, it is a similar syllabus. So it's actually a two-way benefit for you. Clear? So regarding the strategy and preparation, this is already these slides are already prepared by Arpana ma'am. She has handled classes the day before yesterday. She is already cleared JRF and she is working as an associate professor. Fine. So regarding the CSIR strategy and preparation, now all of you know some idea about CSIR UGC National Eligibility Test. It is so we have got two targets. That is, our target must be JRF or Junior Research Fellowship, where we are getting a lump sum fellowship from government, and we are getting a chance to perform or complete our PhD in some renowned Indian institutes. And once we are not clearing JRF and we are clearing lectureship, okay, we are getting an opportunity to work as a lecturer. That is the minimum eligibility to be a government recognized lecturer in any of the Indian university or colleges. Fine. So we are targeting on life science students basically. Fine. Now the CSIR UGC NET exam, twice it will be per year in the month of June and December, and eligibility must be a postgraduate either in biotech, microbiology, botany, zoology, molecular biology, biochemistry, and UG last semester. Now, okay, so that is the eligibility. Even PG last semesters, they can also apply and appear. Now, a candidate is eligible for the award of JRF so if we are clearing JRF, we are automatically clearing lectureship also. Okay, so we are clearing JRF means automatically both are clear. Fine. Now regarding the syllabus, it's a vast syllabus. These are some of the topics. So I think most of you have got the syllabus right now from our Telegram group. So those who have not joined our Telegram group, please do join Telegram group. Also we have even YouTube channel is there, so there all the lectures are updated, so you can even go through that once again if you have any doubts or clarifications. Fine. Now this is the syllabus all about molecules and their interaction. There is around 13 units are there. I'm not going to read one by one. You can you know what is your syllabus, like cellular organization, fundamental process, cell communication, developmental biology. So all those things are there till the methods in biology. So I will be starting with methods in biology. Fine. So my colleagues will be they have already started with a few of the units. Now based on the experience of as I have already told you, since we have got a lot of staff who have already cleared JRF, from their experience, these are the units or the topics to be focused, more focused. We have to learn everything, but we have to focus more. Fine. So first one is molecules and their interaction relevant to biology, with focus on the cell communication and cell signaling pathways and cancer biology, system physiology, that is animal physiology, ecological principles, evolution and behavior, applied biology. That means now the last point you can see already we have got 13 units here. So if we complete 7 to 8 units, it's enough to get JRF, but we don't recommend that. You have to learn as much as you can, but this is the general target. If we clear among these 13 units, if a person is clearing 8 units completely, that is, that person is able to answer from any portion of that 8 unit, definitely there's a chance for him to crack JRF. Clear? Now the exam pattern you have see, while I appeared for CSIR exam once, actually it was back in the year 2002. that time the pattern was not like that. Now the pattern has changed already. Now here you have three parts: part A, part B, and part C. Part A consists of 20 questions, that is from logical reasoning, graphical analysis, analytical and numerical ability, quantitative comparison, series puzzles, general questions, general type questions, which is targeting your ability, your personal ability. Fine, that's it. Now the part B, around 50 questions. It is subject or topic oriented from your syllabus. Fine. And part C, 75 questions, which test the scientific concept and analytical knowledge. They must be application level questions based on your CSIR syllabus. So you have part A 20 question, part B 50 question, and part C 75 question. Clear? And how you have to target? See, part A 20 question, you have to attempt 15 questions. Each question carry 2 marks, so total it will be 15 into 2, 30 marks. So each wrong answer will deduct 0.25 marks. Whereas in part B, you have got 50 questions, 35 questions you have to attempt. Each question carry 2 marks, and each negative mark or each wrong answer will deduct 0.75 marks from the total mark. And part C, you have 75 question. It's a descriptive type question, 1 or 2 like sentence like that. I mean, you have to, its answer must be like your multiple choice, but you have to make sure, because in order to crack part C, you must have both theoretical knowledge and application level knowledge. Clear? So part C, you have 75 questions, 25 questions you have to attempt. Now 4 marks, each question carry 4 marks, and there is no negative mark. Clear? That's about the questions, how you have to target. And about the exam highlights, exam mode is online, exam duration 3 hours, that is 180 minutes. Number of sections or parts 3, that is part A, part B, part C. Already I have already explained. Total questions to be attended 75 out of 145, that is 15 from part A, 35 from part B, and 25 from part C. Type of the question, yes, multiple choice question, of course, with 4 options. So you know the multiple choice question, cracking multiple choice question, it requires a skill actually, because whenever we are getting a multiple choice question, once we read the question, definitely one answer will come to our mind. But first of all, we have to make sure we have to eliminate the wrong answers, and we have to go. So there will be, the answers will appear like right. Most of the answers will appear, it will confuse us, but we have to pick the appropriate and the exact answer. Then only we can get the 2 marks per question. Fine. Now the total marks is around 200, and yes, negative marking is there already. I told you, different sections, different negative marks, and the language of paper bilingual. Either you can attempt the exam in Hindi and in English. Now these are all some of the books which you can refer. So there is another point what we have to. So already those who have joined that Telegram group, they have already received 2 textbooks. One textbook for RDNA, and I can't recollect the name of the author which I have shared. And the second one is Microbiology by Truscott. Okay, these 2 textbooks already I have shared in the Telegram group. So as class progresses, we will be sharing more and more reference textbook. So that is another source, that is another support which we are providing you. Fine. So now each topic, biochemistry, for biochemistry you can refer either Leninger or textbook by Jeremy. Then for molecular biology you can go for Lodish or Bruce Albert et al. And cell biology you can go for Karp or even Bruce Albert et al. Then genetics, Benjamin Lewin or Griffith. Any text you can. Microbiology, regarding microbiology, I always prefer Prescott. Even Pelsar you can refer, but Pelsar is too basic. You can refer, of course. For immunology, Cube is the best book. Then plant physiology, you have Rose and Salisbury, and another one. For animal physiology, you have got Rastogi. Developmental biology, Gilbert. Evolution, again Rastogi. Ecology by P.D. Sharma or Eugene Odom. Then instrumentation, Wilson and Walker. Aptitude, we can refer R.S. Agarwal. Then all-in-one compilation, even you can go for Pathfinder or lot of textbooks are available, but these are some of the references. Now these references are also prepared by those staff who have already cleared CSIR UGC. So all those things you are getting from experienced hands, so they can very well guide you and take you through the pathway so that you can successfully crack the exam. Fine. Now to get success, what all things from your side you have to do? You have to make notes, work very well, be concentrated. Fine. Your notes must be short and concise, understanding the things conceptually. Concepts are there for each thing. You will have each scientific concepts. So each whatever you learn, you have to learn on the basis of that particular scientific concept. Fine. Keep your sources limited. Then don't refer too much or don't go through a lot of textbooks and all. Now already you have got enough reference books from our side. You can refer those enough. Then you have to revise it. Keep on solving MCQs, unit wise multiple choice question, which we will be providing you, of course. And we are the plus points. Now why we are calling as the plus points? Full coverage of syllabus, fine, with all important reference books we will try to circulate. Then regular classes and updates of notes on Telegram and WhatsApp group, as well as we have got YouTube channel. Even you can, those who have not attended yesterday and day before yesterday's class, please go through the YouTube channel, because it has been already taken by our leaders, and they have explained it very well what you are supposed to do. Please subscribe it and please watch it. Now informative classes with the discussion, solving previous year's question paper, then practice questions, mock test, doubt clearing session. You can freely attend the demo class. So all these demo classes are free, and then you can decide whether, if you feel like okay the classes are effective, definitely we will try our level best to make you feel that, but it's from your perspective. You can join, and first 30 students who are going to register for paid classes, a fee concession will be provided. For that you have to contact the organization or organizers of BioSetup Life Science. Clear? So we believe proper guidance can bring a change, as genius is within you. Yes, within each one of us there is a genius, and you can be a part of our family. Welcome to BioSetup Life Science family. Join with us and experience the depth of knowledge which will help you to crack the exam and excel in research field. Fine. Our email is biosetuplifescience@gmail.com. Website www.biosetuplifescience.com, and we have got already YouTube channel, FB page, Telegram, Instagram as BioSetup Life Science. You can join all of them. Fine. So more than this information you can definitely get from those 2 videos which we have already uploaded in the YouTube channel, and the link has been shared in the Telegram group. Please go through that. Fine. Now with this, let me go to my presentation today. So before going into that, is there any queries you have regarding all these points? Can you share those books on WhatsApp group too? As far as it's not, it will not be suddenly, gradually we will do that. Okay, I have seen one comment. सर लगातार क्यों बताता रहे हैं एक ही बात पिछले 3 दिन से? Dear Mr. Kumar, that's why I already asked you whether you all are new or already you have attended. There are few students who has not attended last 2 classes. That's why I explained. Okay? Clear? Any more comments? My first class, informative for me. Yeah, see, there are comments like that also. Now, okay, regarding books, it's not suddenly, gradually we will share whatever resources we have. We definitely inform you that we will be sharing all those things. Okay. Whatever resources we have, whether it is previous year question papers, textbooks, notes, everything. Okay. So anything again, Kumar, the same comment. So सर मैं लगातार 3 दिन से क्लास कर रहा हूँ, आप जो दिखा रहे हैं सारा रात लिया है. Okay, that's what. This is not for you. dear Mr. Kumar, this is for those students who have joined today. Clear? So with this brief introduction, let me start today's session. Okay, just a minute. So before starting, let me go through the syllabus once again. So this is the, syllabus. Read more. Okay. So today I'll be starting with the 13th unit, that is methods in biology. Fine. So in the methods in biology, we will be going through. So you have got, see each unit, you can see each unit is divided into various sections, A, B, C, D, like that. Fine. So today we will be going to unit 13, section F, microscopic techniques. You can see section F, microscopic techniques. It all tells about visualization of cells and subcellular components by light microscopy. Then resolving powers of different microscope, microscopy of living cells, scanning and transmission microscope, different fixation and staining techniques for EM, that is electron microscope, freeze etch and freeze fracture method for electron microscope, image processing methods in microscopy. Fine. So we are going to start with basics of microscopy today. So in order to learn light microscope, or in order to learn different types of microscope, you first of all you must know what are all the basic terminologies in microscopy. So that's what today we are going to deal with. Clear? So from beginning. So already I have explained all those things. So as Mr. Kumar has already noted, we are going to start our class. Okay, I hope Kumar is happy now. So what is a microscope? Most of us know. So before starting the class, let me see how many of you have used microscope. Yes. Kumar sir, please syllabus upload kar diya jaye group mein. See, already we have uploaded the syllabus in I think which group? Telegram group. Already we have uploaded. Okay. So this is the answer for those people who has learned, who has used microscope. So we have got almost 30 members. This much only. Rest all has not even seen microscope. I think most of us have used it, or most of us have. So you have already seen at least a light microscope during our class. Fine. No, just I asked like that. Thank you for your response. So I will be asking something to you. Just keep responding like this in the comment box. Fine. So that there won't be any disturbance, or there will be a two-way communication. Clear? Yes. So what is the basic principle of microscope? Why we are using microscope? To magnify the size of image of an object. Yes. We know microorganisms are those which cannot be seen with naked eye. So if we have to observe a microorganism, or we have to see a microorganism, we have to use microscope with which we can magnify. So we in the syllabus itself we have seen one term, magnifying power. So that we will be going to explain in the coming slide. So what is the basic use of a microscope? In order to magnify the size of an object. Okay, image of an, not the object. In order to magnify the size of image of an object, so that we can visualize it. Now about the magnification power, see the next slide, next point. Now normal light microscope can magnify up to 1000x, which means 1000 times. Normal light microscope will magnify up to 1000 times the image of an object. So we are using normal microscope which to observe bacteria, algae, fungi, protozoa. All those microorganisms can be observed using normal light microscope. Clear? Whereas electron microscope can magnify up to, how many zeros are there? 1, 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh. 10 lakh times. Normal light microscope will magnify the image up to 1000 times, whereas electron microscope will magnify the image up to 10 lakh times. So that is the magnification power, the difference between a normal light microscope and an electron microscope. Clear? Now, so why we are using electron microscope? We are using normal microscope only to observe the whole cellular organisms like bacteria, algae, fungi, protozoa, etc. Whereas we are using electron microscope to observe the internal cell structures of a bacteria, even viruses. For example, our latest hitman, what is its name? COVID-19, coronavirus. We have to use electron microscope in order to observe coronavirus. Clear? Now, what is the light source in both? Now, light microscope uses either visible or UV light to illuminate. So, what is the light source we are using in light microscope? It's a certain light microscope uses visible light, whereas certain other light microscope uses UV light to illuminate the object. Illuminate means when light passes on an object, then only we can visualize the object. There are a lot of mechanisms happening behind the microscopy, which we will be learning in the coming slides. Okay, so in case of light microscope, it uses visible or UV light as a light source. Now, this light will be passed through several glass lenses, which will change its path and finally produce a magnified image of the object. Clear? Now, the wavelength of visible light is usually between 400 to 700 nanometer. Fine, which basically depends upon the color. For example, if the light is blue color, it will be around 480 nanometer. Whereas if it is in red color, we will be using 680 nanometer. So there is some correlation between all these things. When the wavelength decreases, energy increases. All those things we will be learning in the coming slide. Okay. So this so in case of a visible light, if we are using a blue filter, we are getting blue light, so that the wavelength will change. It will be around 480 nanometer. Whereas if we are using a red filter, it will be around 680 nanometer. Whereas the wavelength of UV light will be generally between 100 to 400 nanometer. So 100 to 400 nanometer will be the UV range, whereas 400 to 700 nanometer will be the visible range. Clear? So that's all about the basics of microscopy. Even you can get lot of I can even create lot of, even you can get lot of multiple choice questions from this slide itself. The magnification power of an electron microscope is dash. You will be having 2 or 3 or 4 options. You have to find out. Okay, dash microscope is used to identify bacterial cell structures. So when you learn each concept, just keep this multiple choice idea in your mind and learn, so that it will be easy for you to catch. Fine. Then, so that's all about our first slide. Hope it's clear for you, and moving on to the second slide. Okay, now we are going to few terminologies in microscopy. Fine. So before that, it magnifies the object. Audio issue. No, audio is audible. Sir, what is the light source of electron microscope? Yes, sir. Is it audible now? Yes or no? Please type in the comment box. Is it audible? Yeah, thank you. See, I'm sorry, because in between what happens, there is some internet issue here already. Kerala, it is raining outside from yesterday morning. So in between there is an internet issue. I hope the first slide was audible for you. And I have one question from the first slide. What is the light source of electron microscope? See, in electron microscope, we are using a beam of electrons, not the light actually. We are using a beam of electrons as the source to illuminate the object, which we will be learning in detail. I will explain everything in detail in the coming slides. Clear? So we are continuing with the next slide. Okay, so now we are going with few basic terminologies in microscopy. Fine. First one, what do you mean by transmission? So why we are going to learn these terminologies actually? The reason is, once we start learning microscopy, we will learn about different types of microscope, like bright field microscope, then phase contrast microscope, fluorescent microscope, all those things, even electron microscope. Then some of these terminologies will play some role there. I will tell, like, okay, light is reflected, light is diffracted, light is refracted, fluorescent dye is coated. Then you must learn each and every terminology, what it means. Okay, it will be easy for you to learn. And even all these things are applicable for your classes as well, your regular college classes. Fine. So with this description, the next slide regarding the basic terminology, we start from transmission. So what do you mean by transmission? Very simple, passage of light through the object. So if in the microscope we are using a slide with a stained and fixed smear, light will pass through the slide. That is what transmission. Passage of light through an object, any object, we call it transmission. Now what is reflection? Okay, reflection is the bounce back of light from an object. When light falls on an object and it bounces back like a ball, rubber ball or tennis ball, we call it reflection. Now reflection is very important in science. Why? The color of an object is based on this property. A red flower will appear red in color. Why? Because it reflects the red light and absorbs all other colors. Reflects the red color. That's why it appears red in color. For example, while performing gram staining, we are having two types of organism we may get. If we are using a mixed culture, we are getting gram positive and gram negative. Gram positive will be which color? Gram positive. I need the answer. Color of gram positive organisms. Anyone? You can type the answer. Very good. Pink. Kumar, is it pink color? Gram positive? It is purple color, man. Purple. Pink color is gram negative. Okay. Staph, strep, bacillus, most of them are gram positive, which will appear in purple color. Staphylococcus, purple colored cocaine chains, clusters, grape-like clusters. Streptococcus, purple colored cocaine chains, all those things we have learned actually. Fine. Whereas gram negative, for example, E. coli, pink color. Okay, so why we are observing gram positive organisms in purple color and gram negative organisms in pink color? We have already stained them, and now because the purple colored, in that purple color, that stain will be reflecting the purple color, so that it will appear in purple color. Whereas in pink color, it will be reflecting the pink color. Fine. So that's all about reflection. So transmission over, reflection over. Next one is diffraction. What do you mean by diffraction? Diffraction is nothing but broken up of light into different wavelength when passes through a fine opening or aperture. Now, this happens usually in microscopy. That is blurring of image. Blurring of image means when we are using microscope, sometimes the image will not be clear. It will be blurred in color. We cannot properly visualize the color. We cannot properly observe the shape of the cell. That is what blurring. So why this blurring happens? It is due to the property called diffraction. So what is diffraction? Diffraction is nothing but broken up of light into different wavelength when passes through a fine opening. As I have already explained, red color is having a wavelength, blue color is having a wavelength. So in that case, what happens? Intermixing will happen, and we will not be able to observe a clear image. So we have to overcome the diffraction in order to get a proper image of the object. Fine. And next one is absorption. What is absorption? Energy of light is absorbed and converted into heat energy. Fine. So that is absorption. What is absorption? Energy of the light. Certain surfaces will absorb the light energy and convert it into heat energy. And I have written there black and white color. Why? See, most of us have heard the thing, don't wear black colored clothes while we are in summer or under sun. Why? The black color will absorb most of the light. That's why it appears in black color. It won't reflect any particular color. It will appear more, it will absorb most of the colors. In that case, what happens if we are wearing a black color shirt? We will feel sweating, right? Because all the energy of the light is absorbed and it is converted into heat energy, which means already our body is having a temperature, and also the black color shirt is also supporting the summer season. So sweating, profuse sweating will happen, so that we may not be able to, we may not feel comfortable. That's why we are always telling, usually we used to tell, don't wear black color under the sun. Okay, so I just explained this only to explain the term absorption. So what is absorption? Energy of the light is absorbed and converted into heat energy. That is nothing but absorption. Now, what is fluorescence? Next term. Light of one wavelength is absorbed and light of a different wavelength with low energy level is emitted, which is called fluorescence. So what is fluorescence? Light of one wavelength is absorbed and light of another wavelength is emitted. whereas this emitted wavelength will be of, or emitted light will be of low energy level, not high energy level. So that means wavelength, light of one wavelength with high energy is absorbed and light of a different wavelength with low energy is emitted. That's what called fluorescence. Now we will learn about fluorescence when we learn about fluorescent microscopy, because in fluorescent microscopy we are using fluorescent dyes. So in order to stain the organism, when the fluorescent dyes are illuminated with UV light, it will emit a color in the visible range with a low energy level. Clear? So how many terminologies are there in this slide? Transmission is there, reflection, diffraction, absorption, and fluorescence. Okay. So we will move on to the next slide. Next one is refraction. So what is refraction now? So refraction. So there is diffraction. Already we have learned diffraction. Fine. Already we have learned diffraction. Now we are going to learn refraction. So don't get confused with these terminologies. That's why I am taking these terminologies in the beginning itself. Now what is refraction? Refraction is the bending of light from one medium to another based on density difference. For example, from air to a microscopic lens. And the degree of bending depends upon the relative refractive indices of the media. So what is refraction? Refraction is the bending of light from one medium to another. When light passes from one medium to another, for example, when light passes from air to a microscopic lens, so that's what happening. What happens when light source is switched on? Our condenser lens will focus the light on the stage or the slide. Then only we are going to observe the organism. So when light passes from the air to the glass slide, bending of light will happen, because due to the difference in the density between the glass slide and the air. So air will be having a particular density, whereas glass slide will be having another density. So due to this density difference, bending of light waves or bending of light rays will take place, and this phenomenon is called refraction. Clear? Now this bending will depends upon the refractive index of the medium. For example, air will be having a refractive index, whereas glass lens will be having another refractive index. So bending, the degree of bending of light depends upon the relative refractive indices of the media. That means the difference between the refractive index of the glass lens with that of the air. I know it is a bit confusing because we don't know what is refractive index. Now we will go to sir, diffraction nahi samajh mein aaya. Okay, sir, can glass slab and prism example of refraction? Okay, I will go to the previous one. This is for Kumar and also for those who have not. See, Kumar, now abhi dekho, diffraction क्या है? I am not that much comfortable in Hindi, but I will try my level best to explain it. अभी diffraction क्या है? अभी light एक छोटा एक space से pass करेगा तो light ray different wavelength ऐसा हो जाएगा, यानी it will be split into different wavelength. For example, in the first slide I have already told you. See, the wavelength of visible light is between 400 to 700 nanometer. Now, which means in the visible light, VIBGYOR, you know, there are various colors: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. All those things we have learned actually in our school classes. Fine. Now the visible light is having a wavelength of 400 to 700 nanometer, which depends upon the color. For example, blue is having a 480 nanometer, whereas red is having 680 nanometer. Fine. So now comes to diffraction. When light is passed through a small aperture, small opening, एक छोटा space से pass करेगा light. For example, in the microscope, you know, light will be focused by the condenser lens and it will be passing through small apertures, small spaces, or small glass lenses, maybe middle of the glass lens or small spaces. So what happens? There is a possibility when light is passing through the lens, maybe light passing through the middle of the lens will be different from the light passing through the side of the lenses. Some of the light rays will be broken up into different colors. This is called diffraction. Broken up of light into different wavelengths means different colors. When passed through a fine opening or fine aperture is called diffraction. Now, when diffraction happens, what will happen? Blurring of image will take place, because we have to, when we are observing a microorganism through a microscope, we must get a clear image of the object. We must be able to distinguish the shape of the cell, whether it is round, that is coccale, or rod shape, that is bacilli, or spiral shape, that is spirillum. Fine, we must be, or vibrio, that is coma shape. So if we cannot observe the shape of the organism, how we will get a basic idea about the organism? So if diffraction is happening, blurring of image will take place, so that we may not be able to observe the shape of the organism or the color of the organism, or we cannot visualize anything properly. So in order to overcome diffraction, we are using some special type of lenses in microscopy, which we will be learning in the coming slides. Clear? Is it clear? Kumar, can you please explain in the comment box? Is it clear? Diffraction? Yeah, thank you. Now, Millie Sandeep Shah, you have one doubt. Sir, can glass slab and prism be an example of refraction? Okay. See, glass slab or glass slide and prism, you take two, both. Prism will be, it will be having one shape, a different density, a different 3D appearance, whereas glass slide is different. Fine. Even though both are made up of glass lens or glass, the density will be differing. Now here, the best example for refraction is when light is passing through the microscope, when light is entering from the air to the glass slide. So air is having a density, glass slide is having another density. As a result, light will undergo bending. Clear? This bending of light is called refraction, and this bending depends upon the difference between the refractive index of the air and the glass slide. Clear? Now we have to learn what is refractive index. So now we know what is refraction, bending of light from air to glass slide. Now, what do we mean by refractive index? Refractive index is the ratio of speed of light in the given medium to vacuum. Okay, now we understand what is the meaning of refraction. Now we understand completely. We already told degree of bending depends upon the relative refractive indices of the media, which means difference between the refractive index of light in air and refractive index of light in glass slide. Now, what is refractive index? Refractive index is in turn, it is the ratio of speed of light in a given medium to vacuum. So, okay, we pass light through air, we measure the speed of light, and we pass light through vacuum. Vacuum means there is no air, completely. Oxygen is completely absent, that is, or air is completely absent, that is vacuum. Okay, so first we pass light through air, then we pass light through vacuum. What is the difference? That is what? Refractive index. Or we pass light through a glass slide and we pass light through vacuum. What is the difference between this light? That's what refractive index. Clear? Refractive index is the ratio of speed of light in given medium to vacuum. Clear? Refraction and refractive index. From here and all, you can expect multiple choice question. Is that clear? What is reflection? What is refraction? What is diffraction? What is refractive index? Excellent. We are continuing. Okay. Now we are going to the shape of the lens. How we are going to minimize all these things? Fine. Now, the shape of the lens depends upon how light is bent. Okay. For example, convex lens, which is curved outward on both sides. Two sides, it is curved outward. You can see that shape here. I have drawn one shape. See, like this. This is outward. This is outward. This is what? Convex lens. Okay. Now, shape of the lens depends upon how light is bent. Okay, clear? Now, convex lens, that is, it is curved outward on both sides, bend parallel light rays, so that the light is theoretically focused on a single point called focal point. Okay. So, most of the lenses which we use in microscopy are convex lens. Why? Because convex lens will bend the parallel light rays in such a way that the light will be focused, that is all the colors together with the light, that is visible light, will be focused on a single point called focal point. Clear? Why we are using convex lens in microscopy? This is the reason. Okay. So the shape of the lens depends upon how light is bent. That is convex lens, which is curved outward on both sides curved outward. Okay, it will bend parallel light rays so that light is theoretically focused on a single point called focal point. So by using convex lens, we can minimize the issue which is happening due to diffraction to certain extent. Clear? What is the importance of convex lens in microscopy? Good. Now, next point. What is happening now? Still, even though we are using convex lens, what is happening? Light passing through thicker center of the lens may not focus at the same point as those which is passing through thinner outer edge of the lens. So distortion based on the shape of the lens is called spherical aberration. Now, what are all the problems usually happening in microscopy? Now we have a lens, convex lens. Still, the light which is passing through the center of the lens, which is thicker, may not focus at the same point, that is the same focal point, as those light rays which are passing through the outer edge of the lens, which is thinner. In that case, distortion will happen, that is blurring of image will happen. Thus, the distortion which is based on the shape of the lens is called spherical aberration. Okay, whereas, so we know what is spherical aberration. Distortion based on the shape of the lens is called spherical aberration, whereas you have got another term called chromatic aberration. What is chromatic aberration? Light of differing wavelength will focus at slightly different focal point, which will lead to distortion based on color of the light called chromatic aberration. So issues in microscopy can happen in two types. First of all, what is the first one? Distortion based on the shape of the lens. What is it called? Spherical aberration. Whereas distortion based on the color of the light is called chromatic aberration. So shape of the light, shape of the lens, why it is happening? Maybe light rays which is passing through the middle thicker side of the lens will focus in another point when we compare with the light rays which is passing through the thinner outer edge of the lens. That is spherical aberration. Now what is chromatic aberration? Light with different wavelength. Already I told you, you have different colors with different wavelength. So these different colored light may focus at slightly different focal points. So if light is focusing at a single focal point, the image will be clear and crisp. Whereas if light with different wavelength is focusing at different focal points, what happens? Distortion of image will happen, and this is called chromatic aberration. Again, you can get so what is chromatic aberration? Chromatic aberration happens due to dash. Distortion based on dash should be color of light, whereas spherical aberration due to shape of the lens. Clear? Distinguish between chromatic aberration and spherical aberration. Now, how we are going to overcome this? Spherical aberration ko ठीक कैसे करेगा? That's what I am going to explain in the coming slide. That is, both spherical aberration and chromatic aberration can be overcome by using compound lenses. We are using compound lenses in microscopes, which is constructed with lenses of differing shapes and composition. So why we are using so already I told we are basically using convex lenses. Then we are using compound convex lenses. Why we are using compound lenses? We are using compound lenses in order to overcome spherical aberration, which is caused due to shape of the lenses, and chromatic aberration, which is caused due to color of light. Okay, now how we are making compound lenses? We construct compound lenses using lenses of different shapes and composition. Now, what are the different types of compound lenses we use? First of all, you know two types of lenses in a microscope. What are they? See, you can see the picture of a microscope here. basically we have got two types of lenses in a microscope, and we will multiply the magnification power of both these lenses, and we are getting the total magnifying power of an microscope. For example, two types of lenses are there. What are the? Ocular lens, lens near the eyes. You can see this is the eyepiece lens or ocular lens. This is the ocular lens. Clear? Now, what is objective lens? Lens near the object or specimen. See, you can see the objective lens here. See, this is the objective lens. So you can see the picture of microscope here. You have got an eyepiece lens. Okay. Then you have got a body tube on which you will have a revolving nose piece with objective lens. Now, eyepiece lens can be either 5x or 10x in magnification power, whereas objective lens you will have 10x or 40x or 100x, which is oil immersion, which we will learn in the coming slide. Now, we have got a coarse adjustment knob with which we will move the stage towards the objective lens, and we have got a fine adjustment knob with which we will make the image clear and crisp. We will make the fine corrections using the fine adjustment knob. We have got a stage on which we will place our stained and heat fixed and smear slide. Okay. Then we have got a condenser lens which will focus the light on the stage. Mirror is there. You know, if we are using sunlight, this primary mirror will be focusing the light on the condenser lens, and you have got base. Sometimes you will have a bulb. We don't use sunlight always. We may also use electric illumination source. Clear? These are all the basic parts of a microscope. So, objective lens. So, two types of lenses are there. Already we explained. Ocular lens, which is near the eyes, and objective lens, which is near the object or specimen. So, this objective lens and ocular lens is there. Now, what are the various types of lenses we use in microscopy? We are using various types of lenses like achromatic lens, apochromatic lens, and flat field lens. Now, what are the differences? So, all these are examples for our compound lenses. Okay, achromatic lens, apochromatic lens, and flat field lens. Now, what is achromatic lens? Achromatic lens is a compound objective lens. So, we are using it near the object or specimen. Okay. Now, it is used on many microscopes for routine observation and correct both spherical and chromatic aberration. So, if we are using achromatic lens as a compound objective lens, issues due to spherical and chromatic aberrations can be rectified. Clear? Now, what is an apochromatic lens? Apochromatic lens is better and expensive, which will help us for fine correction of chromatic aberration. Also, we are getting a high quality image with true color of specimen without any shape distortion, and it is used for photomicrography. So, in order to take photos using microscope, that's what photomicrography. Photography using a microscope. Okay, so we are using apochromatic lens, which is better and expensive when we compare with the achromatic lenses. Clear? And the third type is flat field lens. Now, flat field lens is modern type of lens which corrects field curvature, and objects in center and periphery of a field of view are simultaneously in focus. So, when we prepare a slide, we smear it and we stain it and we observe. The microorganism will be scattered throughout the slide. Okay, in some slides the organisms will be concentrated in the middle. In some of the slides, the organism will be concentrated on the sides of the slide. So, if we are using a flat field lens, we can observe all the objects in the center as well as the periphery of the field. Clear? We can completely observe the field. That's why it is called as flat field lens. So, these are the different types of lens we use in different types of compound lenses we use in microscopy: achromatic lens, apochromatic lens, and flat field lens. Clear? So, we have got 3 more slides. The time is already 7 o'clock. So, in your organizer, shall we continue or shall we go for the next class? Balance. It's almost 7:05 now.
You can take in the next class, sir.
Better. That's what. So till now, is there any doubt? Anybody? Now the topic is open for discussion. If anybody have any doubt, please let me know. Otherwise, the balance we will continue in the next class. सर इलेक्ट्रॉन माइक्रोस्कोप में कौन सा लेंस यूज होता है? ओके Kumar, as I have already explained, in electron microscope we are using a beam of electrons. So while I am explaining electron microscope, I will give you a clear idea regarding the lenses and all. That's better. Okay, because if now I am going to explain it, then it will be confusing for you. It's also a type of compound lenses. I will explain it while we take electron microscope, because basically now what we will do, once we what I am suggested you to do is, I will complete the basic terminologies and all those things. We will start with light microscope, that is bright field microscope. Then you have to also learn about 1 or 2 microscope where you can visualize live organism. Then we will go for light microscope, then bright field, phase contrast and fluorescent. 4 types of microscope we will complete, and then we will go to electron microscope. So by that your unit will be completed. Okay, during that time we will each and every microscope, everything I will explain in detail. Don't worry. Even in your syllabus they have told you to learn in detail about the staining in case of electron microscope, freeze, etching and all. We will learn step by step. No worries at all. So till now what I have taken till now this point, do anyone have any doubt? Please let me know. Even in the beginning I have already in the beginning, okay, see, please note my mail ID, vinayan .suravi@gmail.com, and my personal mobile number +91 9996142367, which is activated, WhatsApp activated number. So in case if you are not asking me now, you can ask it later whenever you find it time. Just send me a voice message, or any doubts, please let us know, so that we can clarify your doubts as far as our knowledge and ability. Clear? Because we have to go conceptual in each class. Is that clear? So any doubts, please let me know, and so over to the organizer.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So students, dear aspirants, if you have any kind of questions, you can now ask. Don't hesitate to ask. So if you don't have any kind of doubts, you can just comment yes if you have understood today's session. I would like to hear it from all students. Okay, thank you for responding. And that's all for today's session. Now I would like to request our organizer to put the feedback link. And if you are preparing for CSR Net to get JRF or LS, so we will suggest this is the best platform to get you crack in the to crack CSR Net program to get JRF or LS. So better be connected with us. We will provide you all the. So when you are going to register, just inform us on in the email ID or contact us soon. So if you want PPTs of this, we will be providing these PPTs to you when you are getting registered, and we will also provide all those book lists to you. So when you are going to register, until then you can take demo classes, and first 30 candidates will get a concession of 500 rupees. So register it soon and make it hurry. And if you miss the lectures in the live session, you can watch it on YouTube also. subscribe our YouTube channel and press the bell icon too, so that you will get notification whenever any kind of lecture gets updated. So we will meet you tomorrow at the same time at the same app. तब तक के लिए आप लोगों से गुजारिश करूंगा कि ये इंफॉर्मेशन अपने दोस्तों में फैलाएं, अपने फ्रेंड सर्कल में डालें, अपने डियर कलीग्स को बताएं, क्योंकि बहुत ही चीप अमाउंट में हमने ये कोर्स रखा हुआ है कंपेयर टू अदर्स. We will work hard with you. As you can see, we have very prominent speakers from all over the country. Please fill the feedback link, then you can leave the meeting. And just share it with your friends, this information regarding CSIRNet program. Please fill the feedback link, then you can leave the meeting. Don't leave meeting without filling the feedback.
Okay, Shivam, shall I leave?
Yes, sir. You may leave, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Welcome, sir. So, organizers, you can shut this meeting off after 2 minutes. All have left the meeting. So, Amit, now you can shut this meeting off.